Okay, Tammy.
Yeah.
I have 7:01. We'll call the meeting to order. Did everybody have a chance to review the previous minutes?
Yes.
So John had to step out just for a second for the
Make a motion to accept the minutes as written.
I will second them.
motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
John was not. He had to step out for just a second to get a quote on the insulation for the attic system. Finances are not this week. Is Mike joining us today?
Supposed to be, but not here yet.
Okay. We'll jump right to Linda. Linda has some people that she would like to appoint to the committee for the Veterans Memorial.
Okay, you folks said you can have a committee together and asked me to come back this week. And
I put a letter out asking and kind of dropped it. That's my mistake.
contacted some people. And like you said, Lisa Maynard is still interested. There's not a bet. Brian Ovid is that, and he is interested. My neighbor over here, Bob Woodrow, had said that he would serve on it if we get him. And I was gonna check with Kathy Baker because she's a
Yeah.
gold star.
Mike's son wanted to do it too on
Mike.
King Road, the one that does the parade every year.
Oh, Danny O'Rourke.
Danny O'Rourke offered to be on it as well,
Okay.
me in an email.
Okay.
Multiple meetings.
Yeah,
How many do we need? How many people are you looking?
I think we were looking at 5 is what we were looking at.
Oh, wow.
Just figuring that way at least 3 could make a meeting.
Who was it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Linda, who was it you said before Bob? I should know it, but
Brian.
Brian was there. We go.
Brian, yeah.
So has Kathy said yes, or she's?
No, I haven't contacted her. I've got to call her and talk to her.
So who at this point has said yes?
Lisa, Brian.
And Danny.
Danny, yeah.
Danny.
It, you know, the last email, I was very interested in doing it.
What about Bob Woodrow? He said yes?
You said yes, you did.
That's cool. Well, we've got 4 to start with. I'll make a motion that we accept the recommendations for Linda McCall, Lisa Maynard, Brian Ovis, Bob Goodrow, and Dan O'Rourke as a committee to serve on the memorial.
An advisory committee to the Selectboard.
Correct.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Perfect. Thank you for your work around that.
And I have all the information you gave me still.
Very good. First order of business will be to put together an SOP.
Yep.
And
Off the subject, while I've got you here, have you got that person home yet?
I have not, but I did talk to the school about it and they said that they came flying in, took the dog, brought the dog back to the mobile home. And
Okay,
that's all I heard.
well, I'll hit this up later, but I just needed to ask her that question while she was
Yep.
here. Thank you, Linda.
You're welcome.
And tell Gary I did get the message. I just had some personal stuff going on. Couldn't give him a call back. Sorry.
I've been up there, I've driven by several times and there's no vehicles home.
Right.
So he obviously got the message to come flying in there and get that dog and take it out of there.
I left a lengthy message on the phone about the animal and this.
Yeah.
So,
Very good.
Yeah.
And
We'll touch base.
Michelle said she did call the state police and they were very rude to her. And said that was not
Their job.
their job. They don't deal with animals.
I would have told that before.
yeah,
State
Not
police
certain
don't
that-
handle animals and
be rude to someone is not acceptable.
Not acceptable. No, and she called in an official capacity
Next time she calls, ask for the dispatcher's name and badge number. That way we can go forward back to the commander. I know the person that's in charge of it and I can get back to him.
Thank you, Linda.
Listers, Tammy, are you here representing the listers tonight?
Did you step up to the table? Just kidding. You don't have to. As long as you speak to your.
She's gonna bring all of her notes so she doesn't forget what she said.
All right, got three different hats on.
Right.
All right, so first up, we have a lister who's willing to be a lister.
Excellent.
Yep. Katie Opria,
Is your mic on? Thank you.
my mic is on,
That's awesome.
and she's excited about it. She's eager to learn. She started training and working with us, so she's kept a timesheet. So we're asking for retroactive pay for her. She
Thank you.
started like the week before last.
Can you please provide your name?
Tammy Brennan, lister.
Thank you.
At this moment.
Well, you're not on camera, so
Yeah.
all they hear is a
It's
voice.
kind of, yeah.
It is.
You're very on the corner. They can't see her. Not very well on camera.
There's nobody on there anymore.
Okay, so
What was her name?
Katie Opria.
I will make a motion. Yeah, I will make a motion to accept Katie Opria's
Appointment.
the
to
listers
lister.
position.
Odd.
I would accept that. I mean, I will accept that. I would second that.
I'm glad you accept it.
She accepts and seconds and all in one.
I just.
Motion has been made, accepted and seconded.
Who seconded it?
I eventually did
I
that.
made
just
it.
like-
She's-
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Excellent.
Katie would-
And
Now,
last week or two.
I was gonna say does that include the payment for the work that has been done to this point?
I'll make a motion that the pay be retroactive from her first training.
I'll second that.
Motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, there we go.
Okay.
All right.
The next thing is the reappraisal has begun. He started inspecting inside people's houses. The first people that will be inspected are the last 3.5 years of sales. So that helps them get their marketing feet for what Bakersfield is realistic. The second group to be done are the board, the VIPs.
Why?
Let's
Sweet.
The board, anyone on a board, and any staff.
Including the lister board. Just making sure you're in there.
Yes, we're in there. Then they'll begin by road. And while this is happening, they need the town to subscribe to the Splash Top Business VPN, which John will explain what that is. They need 2 seats. Subscription should be between $100 to $150 a month. It should last about 1.5 years, because that's about how long it will be. The new values will be lodged, like they'll be completed April 1st. The new grand list for 2026 will have the new appraised values, but they also stay to defend the values during agreements. So that this is probably into July.
So VPN's a virtual private network or tunnel. I mean, most of us deal with them all the time. It makes a secure connection between the computers, the 2 computers. My only comment is I'm surprised this was not included in the initial quote, which should have been if you ask me, since this is an added expense for them that was not ever mentioned. Is it a showstopper? I don't know, but $150 a month
For 18 months.
for 18 months is a heck of expense that they totally forgot to tell us it was going to be put on us.
2,200 a month.
But you get what I'm saying? Like,
Do we need 2 or 1? So is it
Uh,
a total of 100?
you were saying 2 seats.
2 seats should be between 100 and 150 a month.
I'm assuming they're charging us for this location and where we're communicating to, both sides of the tunnel. So they're taking no expense on themselves. It'll all be on the town. So the question is this, I mean, even at $100 a month, that's $1,800 added on to a contract that we weren't anticipating that we didn't fund.
We'd go back and say it's their expense.
I semi-agree with this. It should have been included in the contract as something that, and I'm sorry, Tammy, I know you're trying to get the ball rolling here, but
About the ball. I got enough balls.
But the reality behind it is,
But I know that they're starting.
Yeah.
And so this is something they need to function.
They
Apparently.
need to fund that.
they're gonna have to eat the expense.
Because the contract is between you and them, not me and them.
I'm joining the next meeting. We'll talk to them as a board. This is something that should have been included in the expense. You can't hit us later. Next, they'll be telling us that we have to pay for wear and tear on their vehicles.
Question, in the contract, did it state anywhere, is there, other costs that may be determined?
Right,
I
no-
don't believe there was anything like that.
Yeah, that or a clause that usually says excluded from this contract so that we know.
Maybe I can get Andrew on the phone.
No,
Maybe you can, but
sure we have time for
We're
that
gonna do
tonight.
time to do
I don't
that
think
tonight,
we-
aren't we?
No,
Because Alex is.
Yeah.
waiting.
All right, because, okay, never mind.
next.
I know it's important, Tammy. I know we have to get it done.
So permission to give them the key to the office because they need to be able to get into the office, not the clerk's office, Lister's office.
So I'll make a motion that we give it one key with the agreement that they're not going to copy it for the actual outer office, the Lister office.
We'll second that.
Second,
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? I do have a question on that.
Okay.
Why would the listers not be here when they're here?
Well, we did say at one point that the Listers weren't going to be with them the whole time, if you
Okay.
remember.
extensive time sometimes if they have to be here. And like we ran into a situation on Friday, so Thursday I found out I needed to be here on Friday. So we came on Friday, but they didn't leave till 5, so the three of us were here working on stuff on our laptop and they were trying to do, set up land tables and stuff for the new appraisal folder. And I had to leave because I had to go get my grandson, pick him up. They stayed, I think, until they left for lunch. They came back, Sharon stayed and let them back in, but she couldn't stay till 5. I came back from Jericho and at 4 came over and stayed with them till they left. That's not always gonna work, so if they have this subscription, they won't need the key so often. But at this point,
So are we giving them,
like you gotta
And they
get
should have been in the.
permission from somebody to let them do this for today, at least. So we chased Lance down and he said, okay for the day.
are they using our computer equipment or connecting to our computer equipment when we're not here?
They will. They have their own password to get into the Lister module. The grand list, there's 2 grand lists concurrently happening. Ours and the new reappraisal grand list.
They don't have laptops of their own that they can't hook onto the Wi-Fi and do their own laptop. They need to be in the town. That is true. We didn't, well, it's a cost for it, but yeah, no, that's true. Okay.
Like after this reappraisal's done, what
And-
we'd like to do is transfer everything over into .NET, which is the new NEMRIC.
Yes.
United, that will be web-based.
Yeah, I know they offer.
Can we not
web-based.
just can we not just upload this to this
New
dot
system.
grid now or?
It's more complicated than that. It's
Okay.
better to let this happen and then transfer it over.
I'll take
Because
your word for it.
There's certain calculations we want to happen when we transfer over, and we're starting at an equalized level. If we do it now,
Okay.
it'll freak everything out.
All right, so the motion has been made to
You-
provide a key.
Josh, and kind of the discussion phase of it is,
Yep.
let's make sure our computers that they're not using are locked so that they can't access them.
There's none
okay.
accessible.
Okay.
All computers, laptops are locked up and there's some in the clerk's office, there's some in
Not that
Tom's
it-
desk.
They
Yeah,
do the thing,
no,
but
just-
saying,
That's accessible when no one's here is the Lister computer, and it's always on because it's the brain to the other computers.
Okay.
So
So the motion has been made to provide a key to Tyler Technologies. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay.
And they're all like FBI fingerprinted,
oh, I know.
Barry agent,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah,
Yep.
but, so
Okay.
it should be okay.
Is there any other
Um,
from you?
No, I think that will do it, except mileage at the beginning of January 1 went up to 70 cents a mile. That will affect listers and the road crew. So we would
Yeah.
need you guys to.
Denied,
Dates we want to-
denied.
What did we, I was gonna say, what did we budget for?
It's 67 cents now, so it'd be going up to 70.
It's already gone. We're getting paid 70.
Yes.
What? At this.
Yeah,
it's-
we're only getting paid the federal.
Yeah, it's a federal
Yeah.
change.
You make big bucks.
What's that?
The difference. I make a motion that we bump it up to the federally accepted number of 70 cents a mile.
Seconded.
The motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Here we go. All right, any others from Tammy?
That's it, except I don't want to lose this, John, because I don't know what to tell you about.
I'll tell you about it either. Can you send Heather Jewett the Zoom link? Apparently the website's still down.
The website's down. How do I send the Zoom link?
I'm in the middle of a meeting. She's asking me to send her a Zoom link.
Oh,
Access to it. It's on the website.
And she's just gonna have to deal with
the
it.
web itself.
I can't stop to do a Zoom link, huh?
She's interested in
The
the
Wi-Fi,
executive.
yeah, internet session, yeah.
Which we wouldn't be able to do.
Come.
Oh, yeah, I guess we did.
Well, Mr. Gagne's not here.
It's gone.
Has it?
Gone.
All right, so moving right along so that if we do have to go to an executive session,
The link might just hook into Google Drive,
I think it might, yeah.
but I think that
When-
links on a PDF now that I'm thinking about it, so it might not work. I don't know.
okay,
Where's your going?
we'll leave you to figure that out, Tammy. We're gonna move along. Alex?
Hello.
Hello.
Good. Patiently awaiting.
Yeah.
This week.
She's just this one.
Oh,
Yeah,
Sorry to text Tammy.
Thursday, as soon as Thursday.
excellent.
So that's why I'm here instead of the second meeting of the month. Because I might be a little bit busy. Hopefully you all got my written update that I sent.
Yeah.
So I will go through that quickly. We're now at a year since we signed on to do this together, and we've used about 83 hours, minus a couple hours today. 17.75 were split with the fire department and 3 split with the Conservation Commission. So about 73-ish have been billed to the town. And then, that's still well under 100 hours of service that were in the contract. Since the last time we met, which was in May, actually, no, it was not in May, it was in April, since Memorial Day got in the way. Did some research and vetting, VTrans Grants and Aid Program. Hopefully somebody filled out that application and submitted it. I know that I went back and forth with, I think, Nikki. It was a road crew thing, but it was a pretty simple form that hopefully somebody had.
Said Mac,
Max,
Mac
that-
usually takes
Yeah,
care of it.
Matt usually does.
Ginger passed along staffing for adequate fire and emergency response grants. Those are federal awards and also due like in a month. I'm not going to have the time or capability to do that. I did later in this paragraph, I did meet, I went to a consultant convening hosted by United Way and met another grant writer who specializes in federal grants. And if that opportunity ever comes around, it's just not my cup of tea. I'm happy to see if she has capacity for the town. I met with the Conservation Commission a couple times and advised them about the Paul Brune Historic Preservation Grants. I know we had a lot of conversation last time I was here about that. They ultimately decided that the new requirements were a little bit onerous and felt like they didn't have enough volunteer support to get the project across the finish line. So we decided not to go forth with that.
Requirements from the state or requirements from the board?
From the competition, I think.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
It was there an easement on the property
Right.
that was a little bit, people had questions about that. And then, just the budget form was a lot more detailed. And so just not capacity to get the bids from contractors and things, estimates for the repairs that would need to happen to the building. Um, Today, I actually attended an information session about the Village Trust Initiative, and I'll talk about that in a minute. Any questions about that before I kind of move on to other grant opportunities? All right, the first one I want to talk about is I met with, I found this and I met with the program manager for the Rural Economic Development Initiative, or READY as they call it. It's through the Vermont Housing and Conservation Board. And it's interesting because small towns and even agricultural entities can apply for assistance from consultants, including grant writers. So it's potentially mutually beneficial, but it could be for other things too, like business planning or hiring an architect or engineer for a project, evaluating a building. I met with Mariah, who's the program manager. There's a simple process online that if the town were to want support of that kind, it's a quick form. You just kind of fill it out. If you have a consultant in mind, such as myself, to help you with a project, you can say, we want to work with Alex, or we want to work with this person. Or they actually have a bank of consultants statewide that they can draw upon and say, hey, we have this project that Bakersfield wants to do. Does anybody want to put in a bid on it or assist? And each project is eligible for $7,500 in support. So one of the things I talked with her about was, I know we talked last time about, maybe John needing some help on project management for MERP.
Mhm.
She said that would absolutely be something that they would consider, putting some money toward. If there are certain parameters about what can and can't be applied for, like for instance, the fire department's probably not going to be able to take advantage of this.
Right.
But the Conservation Commission, I know that their funds are limited often. They would definitely be eligible for this. And the way that I understand it is that, you all would request the support, they would handle the contract with the consultant. So like if you wanted to use me for something, I would negotiate the contract with them. We ink it there. I'm good to work with you guys after we, finalize deliverables and things. So it's a pretty handy program, and it's meant for small towns and entities like Bakersfield. Another one that I saw recently, it's coming up due in August. I thought of a potential program, Brigham renovations, if it were to happen. This could be something maybe to take advantage of in the future, but it's the sales tax reallocation program through the state. And so basically for materials that are purchased, lumber, drywall, whatever it is for the project, you can apply for basically the state using sales tax revenue to fund those things. So you can get reimbursed for some of those materials. And it's based on population size.
Right.
So Bakersfield would be eligible for up to $100,000 in a sales tax reallocation if, the project was determined eligible. So in a very big project like a Brigham Academy, $100,000 could probably go a long way towards the capital that's needed there. So I wanted to bring that to your attention. Maybe it's not this year, but I anticipate it would be available in future years too.
Did you say materials get reimbursed?
Yeah, it says, qualified projects must be located in a designated downtown district. So we have the village.
Right.
And then it may be eligible for reallocation of sales tax on construction materials. So there's lots more details on it.
So just the tax is reimbursed.
Reallocated. The way that I read it is like you could get $100,000, assuming it's more than that,
Right.
of sales tax revenue from the state. The state is reallocating sales tax
Got it.
revenue
Okay, got it.
toward projects like this. The next one, Vermont Preservation Trust, Village Trust Initiative. So I think Lance, we applied for this last year for Brigham. Correct me if I'm wrong. We were not successful.
No.
And so they're doing another round of this. Essentially, I attended the webinar today about this. They want to support small towns. Only towns less than 2,500 people are eligible. They want people to apply for projects for economic development, for housing. It could be a various number of uses. So Brigham seems to be potentially a good fit, although that's a pretty big project. The thing with this one is that there needs to be a nonprofit established, right? So you have to be a community trust that would be established. They would help do that. You don't have to have it in place now. But the nonprofit would have to have control of the site or have vested interest in providing community services or developing businesses or storefronts or what have you for whatever is the vision of the building. And so this comes, the big value comes with a lot of the technical assistance to help business plan for the project. They're trying to make this application pretty simple, although it's not open yet, so I can't tell you if it is. Then they will also provide implementation funds. This says up to $450,000. They clarified on the call today that it's $375,000 per project, still significant. There would also need to be a substantial amount raised by this group, the trust. They're estimating what
Substantial amount.
they said it would vary by project, but they're thinking about 20% at least. If you're talking about, I don't know, $10 million, that's pretty big, but
We're talking about running $1 million on the last estimates yeah.
how much?
Last estimates to do the project were about 5 million, so we're talking about running $1 million.
Right. And then part of their technical assistance is also helping to find other grant opportunities to pursue toward the project and building the relationships. Correct. So it very much depends on the process. It'll be due in September. And it doesn't open until July, so that's good timing for what I'm going to be taking off for my family leave as soon as Thursday through the 4th of July weekend, and then be back at it. And then it actually opens that Monday, so it'd be at least good timing for me, assuming everything goes well. But I would say if it's a substantial amount of resources, and they will help organize, the project, the planning. I didn't get the sense that an idea has to be fully baked, but they do want some level of like, hey, we want to turn Brigham into this, right? Or we want to turn the carriage barn into this, or they want some level of clear, concise statement of what the town.
Getting the nonprofit started and getting that aligned is a big project.
Right. And you would have to identify individuals that would be committed to, being the board of that entity and, pushing the project forward. And those are probably the people who would raise the money.
Right.
If you want to go after Brigham again, I'd love to see last year's application, and I'd be also happy to connect to the program officer too. That was one of the questions I asked today was, can we get feedback on the last proposal? And she said they would absolutely talk about that, to see what would make it more competitive. Yep. Let's see. I think that's it. The other discussion items, new contract. So I guess we could launch into discussing that. Yeah, so just kind of highlight, I wanted to put together some numbers. So after 1 year, my services cost the town about $5,000-ish. But with MERP and the V-Trans proposal, we were able to get 2 grants totaling $143,000. So I feel like that's a pretty good return on investment. Also, that included 3 submitted for the fire department too. We haven't heard about any though. And Todd, you can correct me if I'm wrong.
No.
But I think there's room to grow. I certainly think we could do more if if desired.
We're at least applying.
What's that?
I said we're at least applying for it.
Right.
So you're gonna write up a proposed agreement and we can review it?
You should have it.
You should.
Yep, you should have it.
Oh, it was?
Yep.
I apologize. I
So
looked at the email today too, and I didn't.
I thought I had it kind of put together. Oh, just
Just as well.
I don't need to copy them.
I read it, but I don't remember it, but I'm sure it's fair.
I didn't see anything.
The only thing that is really new, so I am proposing a rate increase. I'm doing that for all my clients just because the cost of living keeps going up. And, you know, particularly for entities that I've had some success with, and I feel like we've had some success in the short amount of time that we've been together. The other thing is too, under scope of services, number 6, I know that we talked a little bit about, you know, a need for town project support, or like if you need my help with writing a report back to a funder, like such as MERP. You know, you could ask, we could talk about that, and if we mutually agree upon it, we can include some of those hours on that on this contract. What this wouldn't include would be if we were to go to that rural economic development initiative and say, hey, we want to go after this grant, we want to use Alex, and they're going to pay me. You know, that would not fall under this contract. But if there's other grant opportunities that they wouldn't fund or
Which basically just says you're not gonna double dip, give them from the state and.
right, yeah, no, I'm not gonna do that. No, yeah, we would establish a separate agreement for anything like that with them.
Everybody, I read it the other day. I think the date's wrong. I think your date, you still have 2024 on, I believe. I didn't get too deep into it because I got distracted.
At the end, or
It was one of the first things I read was.
June 2025.
May 2024.
Right.
Yeah, May 2024.
Oh, did I send you guys the wrong thing?
Oh, I think it was the
No,
last one we did.
It's updated.
Huh, okay.
I just needed, I think that was.
2025 that I have. I thought it was the same. one.
Well, maybe can you send us yeah, let's
Yeah.
copy his and we can scan,
Yeah.
take a peek, or actually we can get to it. Cause if he's got a newer one, then we should see everything that's in
Yeah,
it.
sorry about that.
Same thing.
It's the worst thing.
It's been a
There are worse things in life.
Yeah.
43.
This one's fine. Hey.
Bottom line.
I would make the motion, we accept the contract with Alex as written.
Up for mine, here, the raise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, I
That was in that one too.
it upped the hours to 125. Right, yeah, we only used 80, right? So, but I was also accounting for some more time if, you know, I just need to support John with MERP, or there's another funded project that you want me to spend time on.
Maybe quicker.
And that gets seconded.
No.
I'll second that. I heard you.
I didn't hear you mostly.
No, I hear you. No, that's why I was waiting to see if anybody heard. That's fine.
Don't let John read through that real quick. He's
You
got an eye
already
for-
seconded.
he's got an eye for that. That's everybody knows.
Okay, was there action here?
25?
Yeah, it says 25 now. June 2025. On this 9th day of June 2025. I think he used this as the template and
Yeah.
just, you know, he was
Yeah.
still working on it.
Maybe something, yeah, something like it didn't save.
It came through the email.
I had trouble with file syncing on my Google Drive at some point too, so
Mhm.
sorry.
So that's from 2025 to 2026, right?
Yes.
Forward written.
John's just reading over it right now, trying to just.
You have to be patient. He reads slow.
An old man.
He's only got one eye.
That's
Yeah,
the-
close
what
up.
is it?
That's what he keeps closing. Yeah.
He's the IT guy and it's on paper. I get it.
Actually, I prefer paper.
You?
Yes.
Easier to read.
I don't know, he's over there earlier, he was over there taking pictures with his phone was reading it to him, so.
That's right. What? I can't hear what you're saying.
Figured that one out.
Oh. If I'd had that in high school, I probably would have passed. Joking. I
Yeah,
passed
this
high
is
school.
great.
Do you have in here the part of the agreement where we agree that we will, upon our agreement, will share costs with other organizations within the
I
town?
don't.
I didn't think I saw that in the first.
I think that's more of a town agreement than.
Yeah,
That's not his.
Just saying.
Contract before.
Well, yeah, because he's being paid either way,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Right. yeah.
He gets paid 100% no matter what.
It was a.
Well, the only thing is I want to make sure somewhere it says that we have to approve it before it gets done. Not that Alex
That's-
would deposit
Right,
it.
I think that's on our end though. That's not
Yeah,
that.
that's
on the
not
company.
his responsibility.
I mean,
agree.
on my invoices, what I do is like, if it's a conservation commission thing, I'll say town entity.
Yep.
Conservation commission, or just general town.
Or fire department. and-
Yep.
You're good about presenting them to
Yep.
us, so
Yeah, okay.
we can't plead ignorant.
Okay.
Oh, we can, but.
The
It's never stopped us before.
The trouble is, too many people
Right.
would believe it.
You may want to pass the first page down to, Coach Nikki wants to read it. One of those guys.
It's pretty.
Belong with the
boilerplate.
library. I have no idea. It's not in here. Should be in this.
Oh, I didn't go to FedEx.
Oh.
I don't see it. No, this is fine.
The last page was the easiest to read. Somebody wants to take a look at it. I mean, to second it, but it's fine by me. It's pretty much close to what we had originally, just the values have changed.
Yep, just the date.
You upgraded it to 8750.
What's
Right.
that?
I said the value of the total contract value is $8,750 for
If
the
we were
year.
to use all the hours.
Yeah, and like you said, you didn't even do that last year.
Is it your treasurer's office?
Are you talking the Merck one?
No, this here, that last.
So
page.
I read this and I looked at it 3 or 4 times, and what I came down to was it looks like we received Brigham's money, the library, and he was moving it over to Brigham. Yeah, that's what I think he's saying. I wish,
Okay.
you know, it was a little
A
clearer.
little more description. would be
That's
nice.
why I signed it. That's what I read it as.
So, getting back to the contract at hand, motion's been made by Todd, seconded by Lance. All those in,
Forward written.
To sign the forward written contract.
all of us in favor of agreeing to the contract with Forward Written LLC, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alex. You've done great work for us.
Yes.
Yeah. I'll be on leave through the 4th of July.
Yep.
So if you email me, you'll get an out of office reply.
Yep.
I'll be around, but probably
Busy.
sleep deprived.
Move
Oh,
So, but hopefully we'll see you at the 4th of July event. That'll be fun.
there's
Best wishes to Ben. It's all good.
Yeah.
only one spot for signature, so I also need a
And
motion.
good-
I make a motion that Josh sign the document accepting the agreement / contract.
Second. Nikki.
Nikki, second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you for signing, Josh. That's why you make the big change over us.
I don't think there was any difference.
I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know if we got the bump or other, so.
Today is the ninth.
The 9th, sorry, it's June 9th. For a couple more hours at least.
For a few more hours, yep.
Pass this over to you to,
Signature.
yeah, and then we'll have Tammy make
No, I'm
copies
stuck on
of the
sending.
signed one so that we can both have a copy.
I have internet.
Flying in from somewhere yesterday.
So Tammy,
Tammy, can you make a copy of that for Alex and file the original, please? And thank you.
Nikki, do you have Heather's? Do you have
that all you
Heather's?
have?
For some reason, I'm stuck in sending.
So,
Can you do me a
Excellent,
big
thank you.
favor?
I'll see you in July.
Sounds good.
Take care.
Have
a
we
good
did,
trip.
I did talk with Mike O'Rourke last night.
Yeah.
I'll give him a second. I talked with Mike O'Rourke last night. He asked if he could come today to get the board's blessing on the parade for 4th of July celebration. I told him stop in, it would be a quick ticket item.
Yeah,
Bless you.
Come up to the front. State your
On the mic.
business.
Turn on the mic, state your name. No, you gotta turn on the mic first. Push the
Yeah.
button that says push.
Right in the middle of
It's
the,
like a little. I'm sorry. You may be a loud guy, but push the button that says push. There you go. Now, state your name.
Michael Rourke,
Thank you, son. Thank you.
we can go forward now.
Dive through the hoops.
Alright.
Sign in.
select board of,
I did want to bring up in the past, the select board used to put a float in the parade.
Yeah,
we did.
Members riding it.
used to, yeah.
It was a huge attraction. I think.
That was,
The water balloons being thrown at. The super soakers.
There was a $5 charge for every hit. Get a boat throws. Thank you. Hopefully yours goes through.
it just, sorry, I didn't read it. This paper that we're.
Select Board of Bakersfield, Vermont approves the parade on Saturday, July 5th, 2025 at 6 P.M. on Vermont Route 108, signed by Josh Cox.
I'll make a motion that we accept the date and signage.
We can all sign it. There's
Okay,
plenty of-
we'll all sign it.
Yeah.
Seconded.
Seconded by Todd.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Hey, I told you it'd be easy. Quick and painless.
I
That's
wasn't.
Down in there for him.
why we didn't let.
All except for the select board sitting on a float that says kick me.
Look,
You
you
won't
want
have
select
any
board, but
problem
select
with
man.
signs on it.
He did good.
He did good.
I
Don't miss the
remember
points.
when we used to have the classic cars, I drove the American flag Jeep in it for a few years before that kind of went sideways and we stopped doing the parade. But the cars were nice.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say the Jeep went sideways and ended up on its roof somewhere,
No, Jeep was great. I got rid of it for other reasons and I didn't want to.
driving all the way back to Burlington and back with.
No, the thing was great. It was a whole different problem. I'll tell you another, a later
Hey,
date. Doesn't need to
Dan.
be in this meeting.
Let Dan know that we put him on
Yes.
the memorial committee for the Veterans Memorial. He had shown interest.
Okay.
So we got voted on tonight.
No difference. I just.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Vicky. She got it. Apparently she got it. Thank you.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Unless you have, you're taking care of road closures and stuff like that with
The
the,
fire department. you know.
perfect.
Well, I've got the permits.
Right.
This helps with those.
Yep.
So.
Excellent. Thank you,
Thank you,
Mike.
Thanks,
gentlemen.
Mike.
and
Thank you.
Old woman.
Have a great day. Enjoy your night.
No.
And we're
No
down the
problem.
road.
Uh,
Surely.
roads?
Road, who's here for roads?
Who's here?
Oh,
Brian, are you here for roads?
I guess.
Okay.
I was here for the lawyer.
Yeah, come on up.
Bring it on down.
We'll bang through roads.
Who? Who's John Vickery? We're in the middle of a meeting.
Really?
Answer the phone yourself and tell them we're in the middle of a meeting. All right, well, can we
No,
give us a moment?
it's like,
Hey, man.
so, I stopped in and talked with these guys, this morning, this afternoon. Took a ride up there after the road we were talking about.
Okay.
If you could hit that end of this week.
So.
Oh, yeah, are you talking about, second item?
Yeah,
This the one we discussed, Josh, a couple meetings.
That was gonna be
No.
under other.
no, he didn't actually reach out to me. That individual.
He
I
did.
was reached out by another,
Individual.
resident that lives on that road. And I told them that I would check on it because they were asking about the cross culverts,
Mhm.
which I asked Mac. I know he's not necessarily working, but I figured he could respond to a text message. And he said that it is on the docket for this year. They stopped in and talked with Al and Brian this afternoon there, and they said they've got some work down on Whitney Road. Little ditching, little culvert work that they've got to finish up, and then they would be moving to that end of town. So best I can figure, it'd probably be mid-July. Cause I mean, there's, yeah, mid to late July. At which
Okay.
point we're hoping they can get up on Budva Hill is the road we're talking about.
Same road, different person, asking when, you're gonna grade that.
We were hoping to have that road graded by now, but we're over on the Egypt Road right now.
Uh-huh.
I'll probably knock out Egypt Road.
Yeah.
County Road and Skinner Hill Road. Hopefully Wednesday.
Wednesday?
Depends on how long it rains. I mean,
That's
really
reasonable.
good, but I can't control all the rain.
That's reasonable.
Oh,
The
that's good.
request was when?
Just don't get out of the truck.
No.
That was all that was asked of me too, is, just did I know when? And I said, I
Yes.
personally don't know when, cause I'm not on the crew, so.
Yeah, I mean, it
As
just-
another aside, also, Kevin Curley called up. And said thank you. And to say thank you specifically to the road crew. They're very happy with what was done over there.
Yeah, if
Where-
you look
what's
on
that?
Facebook,
Sorry,
That's Witchcat Road.
which guy?
if you look on Facebook, they're getting a lot of thank yous.
Yeah.
People are thanking you for all the roads you've done. I was honestly glad to see you came back
Yeah.
and hit Witch Cat and then Joyle. And thanks for putting down the,
Fit so much. in
Yeah,
that.
sorry, right by.
No, I
I
wasn't.
hear you. That's why
And that, it was just a request as to when.
I will tell you that, I'm sure all the roads are, that haven't been done are still in a little bit of a state. Ours was in a little bit of a state. But it is cleared up. He's talking. We understand, most of us understand that, the more primary traveled roads are going to get the service first.
Yep.
We're just, as the secondary and sometimes third layer roads, we're just sitting there waiting, but we know it.
Everybody's road is the most important road.
It's true, but
I mean, 108 is the most important road to me. I live on 108,
see,
If I lived on Ovid Road would be the most important road to me. So, I mean,
key is how many cars are traveling and what takes priority. I accept Joyle was pretty rough the end of the season. And I was actually, if it didn't get graded by now, I was going to ask about it, but I live on the road. I totally understand. There's only so many people on that road. You get more bang on the bigger roads. You got to get those roads first because more people travel it.
and you gotta kind of loop your roads together because there's no sense being over on Lawyer Road and not hitting Egypt Road while you're
Right.
in that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can't go from there down to Ovid Road and then.
We understand, Brian. You're doing.
Brian,
a
we
good
appreciate
job.
it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Doing a good job. No one's complaining.
The request was just as, when could they expect?
Garage and they got all
I
nervous.
see you picked up the door stuff. So the next time you guys are stuck with the weather, can you get them on the doors? I appreciate that you picked them up. We just signed the
Both
warrant.
parties were very polite on the phone.
Cool. What else you have? Do you have anything?
Anything you want to tell us?
What about, do you want to bring up the conversation that I had when I was over at the garage with you, Mac and Alan?
If he had anything and then jumped right over the top of it.
Well, no,
Didn't
because I'm
even
going
have
to
time
ask him, I'm going to ask him if he's going to bring this up. I'm just reminding him, the conversation we had over the garage about that other individual who came and stopped in, delivered some parts, talked to you and the guys, you kind of like did a mini interview.
Hey, how about you just spit it out?
Tell us.
Yeah.
It's not my story to tell.
You have an individual that is looking for employment.
Oh my God.
You should have the job application,
Go ahead, should have what? An application?
have the application in your file.
So, yeah, I mean, I almost thought we were going to invite her tonight to have a conversation.
Totally expected to see her in here.
Yeah, I'm surprised she's not here, but I
So
guess we didn't
here's
formally.
what
invite
happened
her.
there. Is, Tammy sent out a thing
Mhm.
saying, should we invite this individual?
Right.
I wasn't aware that we had even posted it yet.
Mhm.
So I said we needed to discuss it as a board before we have
Okay.
somebody show up and we interview them for a position that
We haven't
we
posted.
didn't
Well,
approve yet.
the story behind it is this individual was coming to make a delivery
Mhm.
and they got into the four of them, got into a conversation with her. And, they were talking about the position and, we know that I know we discussed at the prior meeting that, with Mac and we're trying to see when he's retiring and whether we could overlap and with the money we're saving here and everything. So I thought though that, I didn't know if they were coming to quote unquote interview or whatever, but I know that they've expressed interest in the position, which is, it's good because we've been pulling teeth for some folks and this person is actually quite interested in it.
Not like you're knocking down the door to come in.
Right. So we do have to post it to be all fair, we have to decide to post and post a position, you know, we just can't award it to one individual, but it's good that we have someone.
Clear that we haven't had a conversation about even posting a position, not specifically.
we-
We've had-
right. Okay,
Not said,
Yeah.
we're gonna have a position and this is how we're gonna fund it.
Right.
So
right.
we don't wanna put the cart.
We don't, yeah, we don't want to put out there
We
that
have a
we're
good notification
looking
return.
and interviewing, because
We have an
you know,
interview.
there is other people that have expressed the interest too, and I'm not saying that we just have to be careful just pulling people in for an interview.
What I'm saying is, I was asking Brian to just bring up that there was someone who had interest.
And he did.
I was trying to remind him of this conversation without giving away his conversation. But
I have lots of
Mission failed,
conversations.
dude.
he's remembered, eventually he remembered. We had all the way down to the first name. We were good.
Same with this application, we'll put it on file, it's something.
Right.
We have someone.
Yes.
Yes.
We're going to be, the reality is we have a
We
road
have
crew
an
person
opening.
retiring. We're going to have to replace them. We're going to have to open up a position. We're going to have to open up put out for a position sometime soon to get this covered because he's retiring in October.
Well, I think the way to do it is to take interviews when we can get them and say, we're not hiring until, and we need to decide that date.
Right.
And there needs to be a training period before Mac leaves as
Right.
well.
And we are already in June. Mac's
We're
not going to be
already in
back.
June.
Mac will be back when? Mac's coming back in August. So when is our training going to happen?
I'm not saying that.
I'm just
against-
saying.
I'm not
we
saying
need
I'm
to have the
against bringing
conversation.
people in. I'm just saying that we can't just randomly pull people in for an interview.
And
It needs to be, there needs to be
process.
a process to this.
And that's what I said when I said that we weren't, like, this isn't, she's coming in to interview for the job. She expressed interest, but we have to get this on the book.
Right.
Yeah,
So this is, you know, maybe the perfect time to put it on the book. for the
sooner the
community.
better.
Right, because we have a truncated timeline here.
I,
We know the end date is less than 5 months away.
you keep yakking, but I haven't disagreed with you yet.
Good, then we're on the same page.
But you just keep talking.
I'm good at that. That's what I
know, but
do.
we're trying to get out of here, not.
Oh.
sit here all night listening to
Let's
this.
go. I call for an adjournment.
So,
Well, I know.
Okay.
have the two of them.
Is your mic going?
What?
That one's gone again.
It's gone.
Is it not just in the ditch?
She wants a
go
Hyattsville
look.
road sign.
What kind of?
You wanna check the
Missing
ditch,
again.
you wanna check the ditch line before you order another one? Maybe just a pole.
I don't know, but the 40-mile-an-hour sign up by the golf course, someone whacked and bent. These guys kind of reformed it, but it's broken.
Yeah, I called up, because I went looking for it, thinking the wind might, or somebody hit it and it went into the bushes. I didn't find it, so I sent Mac a note and said, hey, by chance, do you happen to have a cart sign that goes up here? And he goes, yep, it was in the town garage. So I had already put a golf course crossing up and just put something, and he put the sign up.
But the speed limit sign looks like someone whacked it.
They whack.
Oh, they
They
did.
whacked and cracked it and everything else.
That was those damn snow.
Wasn't no snowplow.
They are the ditch line.
That happened after the snow was moved.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe you could say the grader maybe, but the snow was over at that point.
Stone that Linda McCall wants.
Yeah.
Somebody have her call down to Swanton and let them know what size, what color,
Oh, it's a shame. She was just here.
and how much.
It's the white crushed stone that's in the cemetery. So what I would have,
What is it, 3/8?
yes, Tammy,
Yeah.
can you call Linda? And have her get in touch with Brian and tell him exact specs on the stone that they want for the cemetery.
And that comes out of the cemetery budget,
It
right?
comes out of the cemetery budget, but we have told her.
She can use the truck.
That
Yeah.
the truck would haul it, the town would haul it
Right.
for her.
Right.
Why would we pay?
And I think she just goes to SLC.
And she went to Leach's, but the color wasn't right.
Right. I think she has to go to SLC to get the right color.
The color she wanted.
Yeah,
yes.
she wants the white.
Leach's would have, I
Or-
believe Leach's would have donated the material, but it wasn't the right, they didn't
Theirs
choose
is,
them.
Leach's is blue.
Yeah.
Borbo's down there, is brownish blue. And the only way you're gonna get that white that they have in there is to go to Swanton or
Yep.
SLC, it's actually Shelburne line now.
So you
Oh, it's all
complain about
Shelburne
me.
now?
You complain about me. Go to SLC. Move it on.
Now we can move, we can have a 20-minute conversation about when we're gonna hire somebody.
You send.
Talking about colors of stone, one stone, SLC. What else you have? That's wonderful.
Thank you, but again, I've heard a lot of good comments about how the roads are.
Yeah, they're all over Facebook. People are thanking the road crew left and right for the
Even the
roads.
people who were complaining, you had tenfold the number of people telling them to smarten the hell up, you can't grade when it's pouring rain.
Yeah, I
Like-
mean, it's Facebook's actually been pleasant this spring. Anyhow, moving on.
Yep.
Hey, that was my husband, and I had to put a note on his saying, the views expressed by one Jewett doesn't express all from Jewett. So he got a swift reprimand about that post.
Brian, you might as well stay there.
Thank you for the
Right.
point of clarification.
Brian, you might as well stay there, Brian.
What's that?
Is he staying?
Well,
for
we
the
gotta go
exec?
through, we gotta go through all the board business.
Okay, he's leaving.
Because if-
Are you staying?
if-
Is he staying for the exec or are we inviting? him
Well,
to the
yeah,
exec?
but if Don's not here, what are we talking about?
Well, okay, well, I do want to talk about that email though, real quick.
Okay, we can do that, yeah,
Okay, thanks.
but
You can
Um,
stay or you can go. It's up to you for
you don't
exec.
have to sit there, you can,
On the board business.
yeah, police contract and overview. Todd, you
So,
sent a thing out to
The
me.
other thing that you was, and I gave you the one we can see, they used Chittenden County. And they called St. Albans to find out the cost of dispatching.
Yeah. 90,000 for the year.
So they decided that right now.
Are you taking the call?
Torn between-
Yeah, sorry.
Torn between, actually, committing to doing the police, or they're thinking maybe contracting with Chittenden County for so
Okay.
many days a week, and so I
it's-
just thought, you know, if they do it and they're coming this way, would we want to maybe see if we could get a day out of them as well?
And I think that
Getting a
falls
bit of a ride, though.
onto the fact that one of their sheriffs is also on the police board there in Enosburg, so, okay.
Yep.
Keep us privy to that and maybe,
I'll find out. I haven't had a chance to run
Yeah.
into
maybe let them know that if
they
we
do,
can
we're in-
power up with more, then we might be interested.
Okay, I'll let them know.
Thank you.
They're looking at other options because of the cost of dispatching
Starting
on
out.
top of what it's gonna cost to set up.
Merp?
The only update we have is we're getting quotes for the stuff. We do have the door thresholds, which is the first step we have to do, which Brian on the next poor day outside or free time will put on the door thresholds here. Then we're waiting for a quote for the insulation in the roof is B, which we have out to quote. As soon as we get that quote back, and my understanding is they actually quote for several different companies, so several different organizations. So we get the quote, we're gonna move on with the B. And then the next thing is the heaters, which is what we're trying to get to.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Road policies, we'll skip for now.
Get those out to the board so that we can vote on them on the next meeting, because they are complete. We just need to review and
Is this the personnel policy?
both. Yeah.
Road policy?
I think
Road
both are
personnel?
done.
Okay.
Okay. I don't see it on here, but it was brought up again. And I just, because I see the Luno property and we've said repeatedly that we can't do anything with the Luno property till we figure out Belvedere Mountain property.
Right, I agree.
So where that's at, and it has stalled, and that's on me,
Just-
is talking to the,
Bakers.
Bakers?
no, to get the road actually, I'm sorry, my brain has just gone.
No, sorry.
It's okay. Take your
They might
time.
relocate it again because all the stakes are down.
Who
Yeah.
did the Baker
Right.
survey?
Oh,
That's who I have to get a hold of, and it's just been,
Right.
well, the problem is they're moving the stakes again,
Yes.
right? And not
So-
only that, the whole thing is underwater. When you look at the pictures, they're going through tearing up things in water. Frankly, I know we talked about this before, but if they destroy that, we just have to, we could just shut that road.
You have
I-
a landowner that's.
One of the comments on Facebook was,
The top.
oh, you're okay as long as you're in the arena, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
No, they're tearing, that's
So
one
I
of the
read
problems.
that. It was. Are we talking, I think we're talking about the same one, the one that had the picture also?
Yeah.
And I think if you read that, you might have misread that. I think it's, you're okay between the stakes.
Yes, that-
In the
there
There weren't
arena.
any stakes, they're all down.
There was in the picture.
Right.
And he sent the picture to the guy, so the guy had a point of reference
Right.
for the next time he was up there.
Space,
That's the way I read it.
That's-
Um,
I read that one too.
I mean, that's water bound. I mean, I know we say the road's open in May, but that, I don't think that's ready to open if it's a bog up there right now. And I know that's what they
So-
want, but
So here's the problem. that is a town road,
Yes.
and if there's standing water, you would have to figure out a way for it to be.
You'd have to do.
You'd have to dig and trench it out and get the water to move.
No,
It's-
it's
it's
the
ledge.
beaver.
Right, you can't.
No,
use
it's the
it.
beaver.
Well, yeah, I know it's the
Dam
beaver
in.
that are over further, but
Yeah.
what I'm saying is I think
We
you would
could
have to put in something to make it passable, i.e. culverts, even if the culverts were sitting in standing water for
Right.
a third of the year. And the rest of the time, they just have to be coverable.
Can we even get a truck down there anymore?
No,
No.
No, it literally, if you look at the picture,
Become truly.
No, I mean, the stairway there.
no,
You
absolutely.
can't take a truck through there. They
I say
didn't,
that,
that
but
wasn't
then-
filled in,
I
right?
say that somebody
could-
took a
you might
school
get-
bus down through there.
oh my
I was
lord.
gonna
It's
say,
not
you
for the town truck.
you might,
No,
but you might get a 550, a little small dump truck.
No.
You wouldn't think, I
No.
don't think you could?
no, one of those is a 3-foot drop off.
Is it really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So, but I did see the
I
pictures. I
moved
was
to the
disturbed
state
that they're
side
going
by
through
down
it.
there.
Why are we leaving it open?
Well, that's exactly my comment.
And I only say that because if that's the case, we know there's a liability or safety
We
issue.
had, so where things were left
Yeah.
last year was we were gonna get a survey of the full road. We've got the
Right.
Baker survey, we need to do the rest of the road. We've got some people who are interested in
Fixing it.
Helping,
helping
helping.
fix it.
Yeah.
So the goal was to try and get some community buy-in so that that becomes used in a sustainable, responsible way.
My issue is every time you do something, somebody goes down there and undoes it.
There's it,
Yes.
there's it up.
No, I
Right.
agree.
So,
And there is
But-
more water this year that I think than there has
Yeah,
been.
Yeah, last year there wasn't that much water.
well, so just to point out a fact, or not a fact, just to point out clarification. When we were up there walking as a group, the entire group, well, not the entire group, a majority of the group was like, how come we can't just lay down trees and
Fill in.
path.
define the road?
Right.
Yeah,
There's now 3 feet of water there.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you're aware or not, but wood floats.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
that 3 feet of water would lift
Depends on
those
who the
logs
queen
up.
is.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
Yeah, no, but yeah,
that would not be in the same location after 2 or 3
no.
Oh,
I agree.
vehicles, and I'm not gonna state either kind of vehicles because either could go through there at this point. If 2 or 3 vehicles go through there, the waves are gonna push those out and then they get turned and then they're in the wrong spot.
Yeah.
So I would just like to point out that wood or logs across that as a defining point are not a feasible
Well, it's
option.
not an
I
option.
agree 100%.
Not looking at the amount of water.
I feel like Jersey barriers
Yeah,
or boulders.
Yep.
Are about the only option you have.
Cheaper version would be just the waste concrete blocks.
Yeah.
I
that's a
agree.
good point.
Yep.
But we still have to find out exactly where that road is before we can.
Right.
Correct, yeah.
Well, I think the problem is like where that crossing is, 4 out of the 5 items pointed it in the same spot.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We only had one that was
So we
not
know
in the
that
right
it's-
spot, and the one that was not in the right spot is notoriously wrong.
Wrong.
Right.
It wasn't that far off, huh?
It wasn't that far off, but I mean,
But it was
I've
good.
used that one time and I ended up on your property, so I mean,
You end up on my property anyway.
well, that's a good spot to be. in.
Deer season, you know?
I was just looking to see if you're a camp.
Yeah.
So do we still want to pursue? So my concern with getting a survey is that's gonna be
expensive.
a substantial amount of money. And I'm not sure we ever really bought into that. I think we sort of,
No, I think that wasn't,
At
that
this,
wasn't.
at this point, let me just bring this up. Does it really matter? We need to establish where the road is. If it's off a few feet, excuse my English, but who gives us?
Yeah.
Okay?
No,
I
I
mean,
agree.
We need to establish a roadway that is semi-permanent. We're not gonna be able to establish one that's completely permanent, considering the situation down there. But we go down there with concrete blocks. Waste concrete blocks, it's still not gonna be cheap. And a decent sized culvert in the middle. And
The problem is you have to figure out a way to get it.
I was gonna say, how
You
do you
gotta
get it?
build, you gotta build it up
mhm,
so that cause I mean, if you go the same thing as the logs, if you go put a concrete, or if you go put a culvert in there right now, it's really not
you
gonna,
can't do it now.
you've gotta bury something.
You can't do it now.
Right,
It
but
has
what
to
I'm
be at the
saying-
low point of the.
Right,
With that
but
3-foot drop, can you get
there's
down in there with
nothing-
the blocks? So
there's nothing,
I
to
don't
put-
think we have the equipment to accomplish this job.
that's my point.
I think we do,
You do
with the new equipment that we have.
with a loader and so
No,
you're saying.
with the excavator.
Excavator. Oh, I forgot. Yeah, that's true.
Well, you gotta.
That's on
get
tracks or
there
wheels.
first.
Well, I'm saying you could get the truck to the
To the
turnaround.
top of the hill, yeah, to the
You
turnaround.
get the truck to the turnaround
Yeah.
with the concrete blocks.
Yeah.
And then it would be a game of leapfrogging the concrete blocks down to
in
that
there,
point.
Right.
Yeah.
If you just turn the concrete blocks this way across that section of the road, problem solved also, I'm just saying. You don't have to
It
go that
is, but
far.
it isn't,
Yeah.
because that's already
Go around
happened
it.
there.
They will
Just
find a
go
way
around.
around.
Yep.
Just-
I mean, at this point, closing the road, yes, it sounds like a great option, but one, you're not actually gonna be able to close it because they're just gonna go around whatever you put for a closure.
Mhm.
And two, if you close it up top, there's still nothing that defines where the road is, where the issue is.
And they can still come in
Know
from
what
the
I'm
other
saying?
side. right.
If you go down there and you put concrete blocks and you
Along-
say,
Yep.
this is the road,
Well, I'm all for
this
the
is what
concrete
we're
blocks.
responsible for.
Yep.
If they are on this side of the concrete blocks or this side of the concrete
Yeah,
blocks,
yeah.
they are trespassing on your property. That is not a town issue.
I'm more than happy to hear about the concrete blocks.
I'm just saying that like,
No, I
it's
think
the
that-
town is not responsible.
Right.
If Todd goes and blows donuts on your front lawn.
Right.
Because he has permission to ride on the road. The
Mhm.
town's not responsible for that.
No,
But
no, I agree with you.
Todd,
once I leave the
John.
highway, I'm responsible.
Right.
Right.
I will-
But if we don't have an established point of
Then
where,
the
of where it
issue
is,
Yeah.
then
No, I agree.
What's road crew's response?
Which road are we talking about?
Belvedere Mountain.
Belvedere Mountain at the arena.
Which we're not calling the arena because it's not a recreational space.
Right.
What
What do
we're
we
trying
call
to
it?
do is
Belvedere-
establish
We
the
Belvedere.
town's road
Right.
between Baker's property and Manchester's property.
Right.
In the
Right where that-
pond,
Yeah.
That's on the ledge is?
yep,
Below that, yeah.
this side of the ledge.
Where we used to go, you know?
It still does. We're not, that part's establishable. We're trying to establish the part on this side of the ledge, which right now is actually pond.
Pond.
Well, that's not an issue either, because last year when we were up there, you could walk across it in sneakers.
That pickup truck, you know, still corduroy across that swamp.
Yep,
Mm-hmm.
yep. I can remember that as a kid.
Yeah, like we used to go for carbon.
Now, what is the class of that road up through?
Four? Is it a four?
Four.
Is it 4 or legal 3?
It's just
Four.
Well, we haven't turned it to illegal.
We've talked about that.
We talked
Right.
about.
Yeah, but he hasn't been here.
He hasn't been here.
Oh, well, I was just saying.
No, yeah.
Todd and I were agreeing.
Yep.
We've talked about turning it to a trip. We haven't made a decision.
We still make it legal trail, but we still have to establish where that.
You have to establish where the trail is.
The
It's not a
problem is
it's not a matter of what the road is, it's a matter of where.
where it is.
So,
Well, that's
After we establish where,
right.
then we can establish what.
So Josh, we could get the.
Right
legal-
now,
right?
it's a pond.
Right. It's pretty
So,
wet. It's pretty wet.
I mean, theoretically, we could say that that's not even a road.
Theoretically, we can leave it closed longer to ATV traffic and just say that no one's allowed. People are going to go.
But if it was a dry spring, it wouldn't be an issue.
And the
Well,
thing
it's
is,
not.
if we have built a certain amount of community.
I know what you're saying,
involvement, we've tried quite hard to do that.
Yeah,
People are, I think, making an effort to be respectful and say, where's the road?
Yes.
Yes.
well, some are taking and moving the stakes. They did it last summer. They did it again. How many landowners went, what?
We didn't want them turn to a.
That hasn't
trail.
even,
Yeah.
that hasn't
I'm
even
gonna
been a
discover.
question yet.
Mike's.
It doesn't,
But
because
it
even
doesn't-
if you throw it up, you still have to establish where it is.
But,
Yes, you do,
Let the deeds decide for it.
Oh.
which is what we've already done.
right.
yeah, we,
Well,
And
We're trying to
people still
market.
use it.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
not gonna stop the traffic.
we have to
Not gonna
market.
Stop the destruction of the
I still,
property and everything.
I still say,
I'm good with the words concrete.
Cement block.
establish with the concrete blocks where the road is. Now,
Yeah.
there is a dead set agreeable survey
Mhm.
that has been done on one side.
Yeah.
We know the width of the road.
Yes.
That is,
At this point, we're gonna have to have it resurveyed and have a stake set again.
well, I think they're actually there, cause I think they put one into one of the, I think they put a steel rod into the ledge.
Right.
So
There was something there, but that was
Yeah.
an old one.
It was,
Yeah.
okay. So we know where the edge is, we know what the width
From Baker's
is,
property,
we
yeah.
technically. We have the information we need to establish where the
Yeah.
roadbed is.
Yeah.
So-
According to most of the maps, it followed that south
Yes,
line of the Baker property.
yes, yep.
And I don't
So
think
what we
anybody's
really need-
arguing that, we just need to.
Yeah, so what we need to do now is just get, I don't know, a dozen concrete blocks delivered
Yeah, drop them.
or picked up,
Space them out or put them out, yeah.
6 on each side, establish where it goes.
Yep.
We might need a couple for the other side too,
I
though,
was gonna say, you're gonna need some.
so
of
we
these.
might need 20
Over the ledge.
over
there.
the ledge.
Yeah.
Because they were going,
Around it.
Oh,
the
yeah.
road, shit, correct me if I'm wrong, they're going straight and up the road, up the
Yeah.
bed, instead of
Yeah.
going to the left
Yeah.
and down the actual
Yeah.
road.
Yes.
They're
So-
digging out new spots, that's
So
for
we
sure.
need some
Yeah.
on that side as well as where.
Yeah.
Oh,
So we get,
So
And
how do we
then-
make this happen?
And then, well, I mean, concrete blocks are easy to get.
Let's get a quote on
Just call
concrete
it-
blocks.
Call it for Harrison
As
Concrete,
I say, there's only a couple people.
Ireland Concrete, ask for a quote on 20 blocks.
Do we need? a
Delivered,
Delivered.
not to get a quote.
2x2x6. They weigh about a ton apiece.
Yeah.
Just
Then-
under.
That'll be.
If we could take it and do something like this at the entrance, and right where you V it in. So that people just can't go around it.
Yeah.
So who's gonna get this quote?
Or, yeah.
We can have Tammy call.
Tammy's calling, you just said Tammy.
She's writing it down as we speak.
All this was, I don't speak the language.
And that's my discomfort too.
Oh, there you go, Lance. Concrete block. then.
Well, I happen to know an estimator, Ireland.
I say, I know a concrete guy.
I'd say, just make a
That
phone
would
call.
be awesome. Could you get us a number,
Um,
please?
My son's the
I was just gonna say, yeah. Oh, but it does.
I mean,
it just
We
gives
just
you.
be-
have an idea.
Would you be willing to call Harrison's too? That way we at least have 2.
Right,
Yeah.
Last
And if
time
you really want a high number, I'll call Camps.
yeah, no, I was just gonna say.
Well, this is 3 waste blocks like that, we're going for like $50 a piece. They gone up?
Couple hundred.
I think they're 150. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah.
Let's get the quote and go from there. I'd like to get this fixed.
I think.
And
we
this
should
is,
get it done
this is
there,
like 3
because
years
the-
we've been dealing, this will be the 3rd season we're hearing about this.
No, but I'm saying they're gonna move those
Answer.
cement things once we lay them down. That'll be a permanent kind of.
Oh, yeah, no,
Yeah.
I don't care what kind of wheeler you got, you aren't going to move that.
What happens when somebody?
That's on them.
Yeah.
It's not ours, the road's marked. What happens when you go off the road anywhere else?
It'd be like those big boulders on Brown's Corner.
When you turn around and you hit a guardrail, is it the guardrail's fault or is it yours? They're there. That's on you. You're stupid and hit it. It's on you.
And I'd further suggest that we put signage up.
Yeah.
Right away for the trail is in between the blocks.
Yeah.
Travel at a safe speed.
And at that point, if they go on the outside of the blocks, it's up to the homeowners to call the police and have them arrested for trespassing.
I mean, the town can only do so much. I mean, like I said, it doesn't,
Do our due diligence that we can do.
I was gonna say, it doesn't matter on any
We'll get
other
that
property.
bucket loader stuck down there. We'll,
We're gonna be screwed, but we gotta let that water
You
drain
get that
down.
thing, you get that thing stuck down there, you've gone in the wrong spot. Cause last time I went down there, there wasn't any mud. It was just water on that side.
Okay.
All right. So what else we got?
Island Technologies.
No.
Not in the middle of a meeting.
No.
But this is part of the subscription. Was part of my lister's thing.
I know. It just feels like we should have that information. ahead
Yeah,
of time.
that should have been something ahead of time. Next meeting. Warrants and report.
okay, I got a request. I have a request for board business. Would you please add town plan grant?
for next meeting?
No, I've got stuff for this meeting too, but it's just,
And other than this. What do you need to know?
What is this? Well, what we're saying, Tammy, very plain and simple to go back to it, is that expense should have been included in the contract. We didn't, it's an added expense that was not presented to us at the time of the contract. Next meeting is what we're saying. Sorry. You know, this should have been something they deal with towns all over the place. I can't believe the towns, what's to stop them from coming in 2 months and saying they need something else? This is is a contract deal. We paid a total amount for their services. Coming back and now going, oh, by the way, we need VPN services should have been in the original contract.
I don't have an objection to him speaking to us on the phone, but it needs to be on the agenda first. So just taking a call now, I don't think is proper procedure.
We are done warrants. Review the mail. New mail is
How
here.
about we put review the mail last and
Sure, works for me.
Yeah.
Brigham Academy?
Brigham Academy. FCIDC activities that made it possible in part by a grant from the state of Vermont through the Agency of Commerce and Community Development. Loan programs are possible for through the USDA Rural Development. FCIDC is an equivalent opportunity services provider and lender with all services and funds available, yada, yada, yada. That they are trying to set up a 5 or 6 page advertisement that'll go out statewide. And it'll include an introduction, marketing study, engineering designs, architectural analysis, infrastructure. The partners include Northwest Regional Planning Commission, Franklin County Industrial Development Corporation, Town of Bakersfield, Preservation Trust of Vermont, Vermont Department of Housing and Community Development, Division of Historic Preservation, and the Vermont Agency of Commerce and Community Development. List contacts being Kathy Lavoie, Tim Smith, and myself. I just want to make sure that this is something the board is in agreement with and wants to proceed with. Okay. Yeah, I will forward it to you in a minute. Yep. And yeah, that's just an email from Tim saying he wants my input on that. And wrong one, sorry. This one. Congratulations, your municipal planning grant agreement, yada yada, Bakersfield 67 has been processed and funds earmarked for your project. You will find a copy of your executed grant agreement by logging on. You may now go online to submit your first requisition for 40% of the grant amount. Use the online, yeah.
Grant is this?
Okay, this is for the town plan grant.
Thank you.
Okay, sorry.
It's okay.
Please tell your treasurer that you have received this grant, and the first 70% of the grant is funded up front through a first and second requisition, 40 and 30%. But the final 30% is a reimbursement. So the final 30% we have to pay. And when the project is complete and I filed the final report, we can requisition the last 30%.
Planning Commission has some money in its budget.
It does. I don't think it has a ton though, does it?
Well, this grant is for just under $20,000.
Right, so we wouldn't.
And
have
we're
to-
responsible for 10% of that.
Right.
The $2,000. I think that's in the planning commission's budget. Why do I think he said there were several $1,000s in there? Cause he was planning
Financial
for this.
documentation for the 100% of the expenditures will be required for the closeout and final disbursement. So the question is, I presented to Nikki earlier, is when do you want me to put in the requisition for the first 40%?
As soon as possible.
Well, except that we're not starting the work until July, and it's the latter part of this year. So we have a meeting,
July 1st, July 2nd.
Okay.
that's the next meeting in
So
July.
my question was, there's no rush.
There's no
on
rush.
this.
No, we have nothing that we need to pay now.
I have seen no timeline as to, well, there's a year, we have a year to
Yeah.
expend it. But no timeline as to when we make the first requisition.
Excellent. Thank you, Lance.
We'll ask at the next meeting if we can get that timeline, so we can establish that, so we know.
Yeah.
We've been saying all along, well, it's not until. I think we do need to.
Let's get there.
crunch a little bit, yeah.
So there was one thing on the warrants. There's a warrant out there for MERP, which I signed because we need to pay the bill, but that shouldn't be going to MERP at this moment. We have no funds for MERP. MERP is a reimbursement type scenario. That should go against the building repair and or improvement fund, and then it gets reimbursed. You can put the title MERP on there, but it comes from the building repair funds.
That's a conversation you need to have with Tom.
Yeah, I'm just saying, so Tammy, when you see Tom, can you tell him that, and I'm assuming he'll be here tomorrow to do these checks, that MERP has no money in it yet. We get reimbursed, so we need to take that from the
There's
building.
nothing up front on that one?
No, it's all reimbursement.
Can you
So you want me to note that?
Make a note
Is
of
it- It's
that.
called building repair fund or building improvement fund?
Yeah. Yeah.
Building repair fund, I'm gonna call it.
Building expense and town hall repairs.
Building
Oh, wait, that's a different one.
repair for building improvement repair fund. That's what I'm gonna call it.
How's the other one called?
Yeah, because remember, we talked about the fund, we talked about how much money was in it.
Yeah.
That's what we need. A MERP reimburses, right? There you go.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Sure.
Yeah.
Was there any update on the crop lots?
Yeah, I've been meaning to ask about that. Yeah.
There you
The
go.
last thing I did was send this to report out.
That was very nice.
That
Yeah.
this information he requested, and he said it would take 4 to 8 weeks to hear back from the environmental side of whether they approved it or not. He wanted to know about what, he wanted detailed drawings, he wanted,
No
to
endangered
know the
turtles.
environmental impact, and I said, I don't understand when it's an existing signpost that we're just attaching this equipment to enhance the safety of that crosswalk.
Right.
And so I got it back, well, I'll just put it through and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think it still goes through BGS, right? The request and it gets reviewed.
Potential to the environmental people to look
Right.
and make sure that they want to know if it was in the village center, what historical buildings were next door.
Right.
Damn
They
it.
did that for us just doing the work here for MERP. They made us, and it didn't take 4 to 8 weeks. It was fairly decent.
We should
48.
then close to.
4 to 8.
Okay. Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you, Doc.
Yeah.
All
Anything in the
right,
middle?
so I have new mail. I'm gonna go over this real quick. Do we want to join a plant-based treaty with Los Angeles,
No,
Hoboken,
No.
Boynton Beach, and West Hollywood?
um,
Okay, I think they sent it to the wrong
I think
Bakersfield.
they sent that to the wrong Bakersfield. That's Bakersfield, California's.
Funding opportunity and highway garage. I'm pretty sure this is the one that Mac has already done, and this is just the print off of it again. And then
So, an overview of what's available.
the governor is. Oh, let's see here. Governor Phil Scott has issued an official proclamation recognizing the second week of May as Inclusion Week in Vermont.
We're into June. We're okay. We've made it through it. We
made it
included
through.
Mesa, second week.
We're good to go there. That's
Yeah.
all the new mail.
That was new?
You're not included.
Not included. I don't feel included. But I'm okay.
What's that?
Are you done with these?
I haven't signed them.
Tammy, can you do-
No, she can record them. I just need to sign them before we.
Tammy, can you point out to Tom what I wrote on the top of the MERP one? On the MERP one, I wrote Oh, holy smokes in a can. I wrote it on the top, just pointed out to what I wrote. If he's got a question, tell him to call me. Please and thank
Tammy,
you.
you put the ATV ordinance in here. Do you know why that's in there again? Cause we changed it last meeting.
The room policy, what I had you sign.
Which- We changed the opening of the roads with the ATV policy to read all vehicles. Yeah, for all vehicles.
Okay.
Sign
Yep.
this one.
Uh-oh.
Wrong teeth.
Uh-oh.
All right.
Okay,
Oh, local emergency management municipal plan.
that's for this meeting? I don't see it on here.
Oh, you're so Valley.
That's this.
Oh, that's the emergency plan.
Yeah.
We have, you have to have that by law,
Yep.
and it's just, it's a boilerplate.
Okay, Tammy, I sent you 4.
I sent you 12.
Yeah.
Yes.
I refuse to be outdone. I sent you 12. I mean, nothing. Nothing, but I sent them. No. Thank you.
What?
Sign your name there, sir.
What am I signing away?
Your life, farm, and loved ones. The ATV update.
Oh,
UT.
The all off-road vehicles. Yeah. ATV, UTV, UFOs.
I gotta kick this back.
Great. Oh, kicking it back.
Yep.
did you
There's 5 members of our board, not 4.
send that one back to me? Do you want a copy of that?
There's only 4 on there. Yep.
Did you want a copy of that?
Yes,
I'll get it.
oh, thank you. I was gonna just steal it.
Todd's got it.
Thank
Were you
you.
expecting
Here's
Todd
that,
not
Tammy.
to sign it?
ATV ordinance signed.
Oh,
Who'd they miss? Oh. No wonder.
I know.
oh, to be.
It's just gotta go back to him and get, yep,
I can just respond to the email.
that would work.
Oh.
What else you got?
Oh. I think, this one we decided to table until we come up with an actual advertisement for that position.
That's the position? Yeah.
Village trust, it's the, oh, this is Alex, he's already talked about it. This is Alex, he's already talked about it. Emergency management plan, right over there. We haven't done that yet.
I have the whole budget if you want.
Should. Please, go ahead and come on.
Who's that?
Okay, and that is another copy of that, which is outdated. If we've already talked about them with Alex, we probably don't need to talk about it again. This can go in here. All right. That leaves us with only our
Executive session to discuss that property, yes?
Yes, that's all I think we have left.
I have been unable to contact that person. I did leave a message,
this
Yes.
person here. Okay.
and you know who lives with her.
Yep.
Okay. They've been on school property as well.
Okay. You want me to go over and execute?
Plan
If you
B.
catch her there, yeah, I left an extensive message.
Can I get a copy of this? Just so that I know and I can remember what it is that I'm
Yeah.
trying to address.
I would like to make a motion that we enter executive session to discuss legal matters that would incorporate Heather, Brian, and Hammy, as she was a part of it originally.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Lance, do you say aye?
Thanks, Lance. So I'm gonna pause the recording at what time is that?
Pause the recording at 8:31.
Acknowledging that the only people that are in the recording we have to leave on is Heather, and if anyone tries to join, we can prevent them from joining.
Correct. You go with it.
You're good. Make your motion.
I make a motion that we exit executive session.
And I second that.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Exit of executive session at 9:05. Now,
So can we invite the attorney to come to a meeting to be decided to discuss the
next steps.
next steps with this case?
Absolutely.
Can we define what attorney?
Nothing more is done on this case, no communications between our lawyer and the other lawyer until we have had a
You
conversation.
can add a motion, right?
Yes.
I'll second that.
Yeah.
So long as we specify the lawyer we're asking to come to the meeting. Oh, you can go again.
Discussing to request no communication.
No further communications until we have discussed,
Because we have questions.
we have questions.
Yes.
That's.
By the
No
time
further
of,
communication.
by the time of the next meeting, it's,
Yes.
our next meeting's gonna be what, 14 days from now? So that's the
We should make it
23rd.
Days, because we have our financial in 14 days. Like.
So in the first meeting in July, you're saying?
Yeah.
And that we're requesting which lawyer, Megan? Because at that point, Michael will be retired. Oh, that's
Well,
on,
then,
That's fine.
we're requesting, but we're requesting Megan to come, who will be our attorney at that point. The town attorney is Megan. We're requesting the attorney, not the paralegal, or are we requesting paralegal?
Is our attorney.
I'm just asking who we're requesting to come.
We're
Our attorney
requesting
is-
our attorney, who at that time will be Megan,
Thank you. That's all I want to hear.
what's her last name?
I don't know.
Manahan.
Manahan.
Right.
Will you stop for a moment? We're requesting Megan.
At that point.
Megan is going to
will
represent
not
us.
be an attorney.
So Megan, we're requesting, let's make it easy. We're requesting Megan of the firm to attend the first meeting in July.
Oh, stop.
You guys are just trying to make this difficult.
We vote on
I don't know why.
Somebody's got to second that shit. I want to hear.
I said I seconded.
Repeated too.
Oh, there you go. John seconded.
I said I seconded so long as we identify who we're asking for.
Yeah, but I think that's actually an amendment to the initial.
Okay,
Communication take place between party lawyers, so this is a separate motion, that wasn't a motion.
It was a motion, so let me.
But we amended it.
State the motion. Is that allowed?
Absolutely.
So I propose that we do not have any more communications between party lawyers until our next, until our July,
First meeting in July.
meeting in July, which I believe is like the 13th, because it's a, yeah.
Absolutely.
And at that meeting, we request the presence of Megan, fill in the blank last name,
Just asked if we got it.
as our representative.
I s-
Legal representative.
I second that.
whisper nothing is into my ear.
Motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed?
I'd like to make a motion we adjourn. Oh, my Lord, yes. Passed unanimously. John makes a motion that we adjourn.
Todd seconds it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed?
I believe she's done.